how long do you think Trump has to really get things done?
6 months, outside a year. But the first 100 days, first 6 months, you got to be getting all three. You got to get he's got to personally get involved in the bringing to a conclusion the Ukraine war. And I think also this Middle East situation, particularly with the Persians getting close to a nuclear weapon, as he warned about. And I think on the border, the first reconciliation, Miller and Holman, the deportations, building the wall, and then the financial and economic crisis. He's got, I think, outside a year. I would put it as, for planning purposes, 100 days to 6 months. You got to get on with it. And I mean, this is my point. You got to be driving this thing every day. I wouldn't even take off if we were on the team. I wouldn't even take off even Christmas Day now. I'd be grinding every second of every day, because they're lying in wait. And remember, they're going to put $1 billion in back of Hakeem Jeffries to flip a handful of seats in the House. On the House side in 26, and the first thing Hakeem Jeffries is going to do is he promises to his donors, impeach Trump. We're not out of this. We're far from being out. Even everything we accomplished, extraordinary. You and everybody on the media side in this new ecosystem, inspiring people, the people coming out and do it. This is a people's victory. But November 5th, you got to understand, that's just that gets you to the table to start the fight. And it's going to be brutal. They're going to pull out, they will pull out every stop. You've already seen this and what they've tried to do, President Trump. And their goal and objective is to flip the House in 2 years. And Hakeem Jeffries, the first thing he'll move is impeachment on Trump and maybe many people in the cabinet. So folks have got to understand, this is a political war. And we're at the very beginning of this. This is not, don't think the great work we did on November 5th means anything to these people. They could care less. They're going to fight with every tool they have. And legal tool, political tool, information tool, deal from the bottom of the deck, do things that are unfair. So it's and not even talking about our foreign enemies, the Chinese Communist Party, the Persians, the KGB in Moscow. This is and oh, by the way, you got 10 to 15 million illegal aliens just on Biden's watch. I'm not even considering the people here before, just on his watch. So stakes are high. Let's say 6 months to the outside.
How does he do it? How does he attack immigration in particular? Because what we'd love to see, of course, is an actual law that tightens the procedures, that make sure some of these Trump policies become law and the next president has to abide by them, especially if, it's a Democrat. But we don't have 60 votes in the Senate. We only have, 53, which makes it tough because the Democrats could filibuster it. Maybe not, given that the temperature on immigration is so hot right now and even Democratic voters wanted to see a crackdown. So what exactly on immigration do you want him to do?
This is what gets back to this concept called reconciliation. They have this thing, it's too technical to get into, but there are this instrumentality called a reconciliation where you don't have to get cloture in the Senate. You don't have to get the 60 votes. It's majority. They come up every so often. It's kind of a reconciliation of the budget. They're technically, you've got to really thread the needle to use them. But we actually have the ability to do two reconciliations as currently interpreted, I think, by the parliamentarian in this, after Trump takes office. And the talk is to use one reconciliation immediately right after his inauguration, and that is solely for the purpose of the border and immigration. And you only need 51 votes. So you get the change that you need, right? And this is legislation. So Trump hits you with 50 executive orders, just like we did in 16, and like Biden did to reverse it. So you got all these executive orders that unwinds all the madness of Biden. You've also got a reconciliation bill that you jam through with a majority, and that's got not just some changes, but as importantly, it gives Holman and Miller some real powder. You're not going to, it's nowhere in these budgets to start the deportation of these people. But people are saying it was going to cost $800 billion a year. It's not, but they at least get some powder to build the wall, to do other security in the border, to help in those areas in the southern border and actually in the cities, because every town's a border town now. Every state's a border state. So it's taking on the sanctuary cities. There's resources and money in a law that's done, and that's done day one, I hope, by the 20th. That's what they should be working on, or shortly thereafter. And that begins the process. I also think, and we can't be fantasists here, I want all 12 to 15 million gone, not just the criminals. I think you start there. I believe you have to have a sit down And some of this is happening behind the scenes. You have to go to the frontline countries in Central America. You have to get the Mexicans involved. And she's already said in the last 24 hours, I'm prepared to take guys back. But you have to sit down with them and work out arrangements that, even economically are going to help here, because we're going to be sending a lot of people back. And we just don't want, we're empathetic people, right? We're not cruel people. We're just not going to do this and give them a bus ticket. It's not going to work like that. So, and you want to take that club out of the media's hands. I think he does some sort of summit, Mar-a-Lago, Rio Grande Valley, you pick it. But we start a formal process of how, beyond the criminal element, you start getting these people to take back. You include, I think, a couple of South American countries, like, for instance, where the Haitians, hundreds of thousands of Haitians have been there. There's a way to do this. The guy you want in the room to do that is Donald Trump. This is a big deal. You get reconciliation, you get money, start a formal process. Trump gets guys in the room. You start the second formal process. By the time you're 6 months to 9 months into this, by Labor Day, we've got traction. This is happening, right? The border's sealed. People are not coming across. We stopped playing the games on the migrant situation, asylum. All those games are stopped. And you've begun a process of the criminals and the others that he talks about from the insane asylums. That's in movement. Plus, countries are your partners to take these folks back and to work it out. And if they don't, then you talk about the tariffs. You bring the tariffs. You bring economic nationalism or access to the American market. Remember, our market is the most lucrative market in the world for countries. So you got to negotiate. And Trump will use, he and Navarro, and he worked this out in 18 and 19 with the Mexican government. So, but that priority is, and that's that lane, and that's got to hit. You got to hit that hard. You got to hit it fast. You got to hit it right away.
Okay, what about investigations? Because we've seen a couple of things bubble up recently. There's been buzz around Liz Cheney, who we now have reason to believe may have behaved inappropriately with a key witness in the J6 hearings with respect to her attorney. There have been allegations made that she interfered in an inappropriate way. Then you've got Fani Willis, whose disqualification was ordered by the Georgia Appellate Court yesterday. Thank God, that was the right decision. And, there's real questions about the behavior of some of these people who have been the main chief antagonists of Donald Trump. There's a split on whether he should go after them. He said success is the best revenge. Not sure I'm inclined to do it, but he's filed lawsuits, at least, against certain media personnel and Ann Seltzer, the Des Moines Register. So what do you see happening on the investigation or, quote, retaliation front?
So you have the three lines of work that are major: stop the wars, get the finance and debt in shape, the economy growing again, and the border. Then you have to have, and this is not about personal revenge, because people in the Financial Times think Susie Wiles has quoted quite rightly that the best revenge is the golden age of Trump and sunlit uplands. I agree with that. However, this is not about Trump. It's not about Steve Bannon went to prison, or Peter Navarro, or Tina Peters, or anything. We have to do this for the country. This can never allow to be happen. We can't allow this to ever happen again. The Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times, Megyn, as you know, over the last 72 hours has been reporting, and the Daily Mail puts up a lead. They now, from people in the White House, they don't know if Biden was even in charge from day one.
Yep.
The investigations, number one, on the vast criminal conspiracy from the Justice Department and the FBI to New York State to Fani Willis to all of it, on the vast criminal conspiracy against President Trump with lawfare, has to be with complete open sunshine exposure. That has to be investigated. It just does, whether it's at the House, at the Justice Department, and the FBI. But also, we have to get into this entire situation of the Biden White House. Why was the 22nd Amendment called? We have to never allow these games to be played again. And by the way, on the vast criminal conspiracy, I do believe some media people are going to be brought into that, because I think once you start looking at text messages, once you start looking at emails, I think you're going to see that there were people, as you know, at MSNBC and some of these publications like the New York Times and the Washington Post, that were in on this. And so I think the investigations, we need this for the American people. That's kind of a sidebar that's going to take its own momentum. But you see the people he's put in the Justice Department around Pam Bondi. If you see Kash Patel, we're not going to back off. We owe this to the country. This does not have anything to be about going to prison with Liz Cheney with the illegitimate committee. But we have to get to the roots of what that was. We have to get to J6.
Sunlight.
Not security. Why I call it a Fed surrection. The only way to do it is complete open sunshine.
For those of us who have been holding our breath for the past several months, we can finally exhale in the wake of this presidential election, right? Work can finally be done on the major issues that this country's facing, and one of the most significant is our national debt. Look, the fact is our nation's broke, and that debt is a house of cards that cannot be quickly dismantled by anyone. So the strategy remains the same when it comes to your investments. You might want to diversify your savings. Virtually all the experts say that's a good idea. This is why I want to tell you about Birch Gold. So many things are out of our control and out of our president's control that it really can be important to have a safe haven for your savings. Birch Gold Group can help you if you would like to convert all or part of an IRA or 401k into an IRA in physical gold, which is like a hedging of the bets. And the best news is it does not cost you 1 cent out of pocket. You just text MK to 989898 and you get your free info kit. And plus right now you will receive a free 1 ounce silver eagle for every $5,000 purchased Silver Eagle coin. Protect your savings with Birch Gold. Text MK to 989898 and claim your eligibility for free silver today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.